as a lot of the demographics are getting younger, the teachers, the students, and parents and things like that, I felt that it was just not a lot of representation for those demographics. Me myself, I'm 34 years old, and I do have 3 children in Richmond Public Schools. And I feel like sometimes a lot of the communication and the representation is a little outdated for the demographics that we have now. And that was one of the biggest reasons why I decided to put my name on the ballot and to get in the race was for that representation. Um, I'm just hoping that I could come and bring some new ideas and a different perspective to the school board and also be inclusive and include plans that include everyone.
I've worked in government and nonprofits. I've worked in housing, family violence prevention, and I currently work in healthcare. And I know how these issues and others affect all of our children even before they spend one day in a school. And so that's why I'm here. That's why I'm running for Richmond City School Board, is because we have a lot of work to do to make sure that all of our children are equipped to learn. So I'm running to do 3 things. 1 is focus on improving equity and quality. 2 is ensuring that our schools are safe and trauma informed. And 3 is relentlessly advocating for more funding. Thank you so much. Support keeping the superintendent for one simple reason. The decision to keep, to fire, and manage the superintendent is the most important power of an elected school board and should only be done not based on vibes or who's friends with who or who thinks who's doing a good job, but based on student outcomes. Our student outcomes, while we have more work to do, have been going in the right direction. Our SOL scores are up. Our graduation rates are up slightly. We've accredited many more schools since 4 years ago. And so we need to continue that progress. We do have a lot more work to do. The primary role of the school board is to establish the vision and goals for the superintendent and the school system and hold them accountable to it.
Um, the primary role, in my opinion, and what I feel of the school board is the primary role of the school board should be to foster and promote growth in the students. Being that Jason Cameron is one of the highest paid superintendents in the history of the school board, that's alarming to me. And I know we're always so quick to say COVID, 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 but we have to be honest. Richmond Public Schools was not thriving in reading and math scores before COVID. So I understand that COVID, was a 2, 3 year setback, but kids were obviously struggling with reading, math, and SOL scores well before COVID was an issue. We cannot be ignoring the teachers, the administrators, and the staff who work with the children every day. RPS has to lift the retaliation policy. We cannot have people coming in sharing their experiences, and then their experiences are falling on deaf ears, or they're being chastised or demoted for simply having an experience. I know we always talk about teacher retention, but are we fostering an environment for teachers to stay? Are we as a school district creating conditions where people will want to stay? My belief is that in order for teacher retention, we have to stop giving the teachers pizza parties and actually give them incentives and a chance to move up within their company. So when we have openings for principals and other things in the building, we need to start saying, hey, let's look at how long we've been on the job, and let's look at the job performance and start hiring and promoting from within. Because a lot of teachers are not staying because they're not seeing the benefits in being on a year or 2 years. And that does affect student outcomes, because if we can't even produce the right amount of teachers every single year to educate students, how are we going to build up outcomes if the classroom settings are always constantly changing?
Teacher retention is directly connected to student outcomes. We've made some progress. We've increased salaries, but there's so much more to do. We have to actually make the job of teaching easier. We have to support them in the classroom. One example that I spoke to with some teachers, and I've knocked on many doors in the district, and we have a lot of teachers that live here, they've described that the actual day in and day out job, even with the higher salary, is more stressful than it's been. People who leave jobs, they don't always leave because the salary is low. They'll often leave because the atmosphere sucks, or they have a bad supervisor, or they have uncooperative coworkers, right? We do have to foster a culture of collaboration and support. And we can't really continue to have like this very toxic sort of top-down hierarchy. It's tragic and dystopian that we have to have clear backpacks and metal detectors in our schools. I hate the idea that that's required. I wish they weren't required, but until our state and national leaders do something about the insane amount of guns and the fact that this is the only country where we have to even worry about school shootings. I mean, it's crazy that twice a year, every year, I'm on the internet shopping for body armor backpack inserts. It's tragic and dystopian that we have to have clear backpacks and metal detectors in our schools. I hate the idea that that's required. I wish they weren't required, but until our state and national leaders do something about the insane amount of guns and the fact that this is the only country where we have to even worry about school shootings. I mean, it's crazy that twice a year, every year, I'm on the internet shopping for body armor backpack inserts. That's an insane thing that I have actually done.
If we want to address bullying in the school systems, we need a whole wraparound program with the city. We need the school board involved. We need the city council involved. We need the mayor's office involved. On every level, we need to be addressing poverty and mental health. RPS is spending so much money every single year on security, metal detectors, extra police in the schools, and all these things, and has not invested $1 into mental health resources. So, what are we paying for? We're paying to be safe, but we're not addressing the causes of the violence. We're not addressing poverty. Now, it's not the school's job sources. Can people reach out to you and get the things you need? So we have to look at the people that who are in these elected positions. Are they going to be elected to just come in and keep pushing along the narratives of the developers and people like that? Or are they going to have a mind and a backbone to be able to stand up in the face of adversity? And no matter what developer or who's offering you money, you have to be able to say no, because you have to live your life like someone is watching you, even though they're not. So you have to have that integrity as a candidate and as a person. So we have to make sure that we're always being intentional and leading with the best foot forward. If you want engagement in the schools, you have to be able to connect with the parents. So I think what RPS needs to do, or just the school board period moving forward, at the school board meetings, have a little bit more, not just regular meetings, but maybe have forums where parents and where people can come in and just share their thoughts, not necessarily in the same style of a traditional school board meeting, but we need feedback and we need engagement and we need communication from the community. If we're not inviting people to conversations, they will not have a conversation, or they don't have anything to tell us. So it's not like they're going to just come in on their own and say, hey, this is what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And then I have had a lot of parents come to me and tell me that they've been coming to schools, they've been ignored, principals are ignoring them, they're asking for meetings, can't get it. So it's little things like that that we have to address as well. Is the communication leveled? Is it a level playing field? And does everyone have access to the same resources when in need? Does everybody have access to mental health or whatever the resource may be?
So we have persistent gaps. We have a lot of gaps with our students with disabilities. We have racial gaps. But when we've focused and invested and provided tools and support, we've made progress. We've made progress when it comes to reading and literacy all over the city, not just in the well-to-do parts. We've made progress around SOL scores. And so it is possible. The needs are great and the dollars are few, but when we focus, we make progress. And so that's what's really important, and that's how we get this done. Specifically, again, going back to family engagement, I really think continuing the progress we've made on family engagement and providing more. One of the things that the engagement saw when RPS was talking to families about absenteeism was, one, a lot of families didn't think it was a huge problem or hadn't realized that their children were as absent as they were. But one of the things we found was housing instability. That was not the top thing that was a problem, but I think that was number 3. So do we have enough housing resources to offer them? Again, that shouldn't be RPS's burden to bear. But again, demanding that our public systems and our public dollars are supporting our children is something we should all be demanding.
Regardless if I win or if I don't win, I'm going to maintain myself at the capacity that I am in the community, finding people resources and helping make residents' lives better in Richmond. So that's one thing I am committed to do. So win or lose, you will still see me in the 3rd district riding my bike throughout the community. I've been living here since 1997. You will see me still out at the schools, and I was at Mary Scott for their open house this year as well. But I'm regardless, win or lose, I'm really here for the kids.
Our public schools and our public libraries are some of the last vestiges of high quality public services, and I refuse to give in to the cynicism that things will always be underfunded and things will always be dysfunctional. These are man-made systems, and the problems are not natural disasters. These are human mistakes we made, and we can unmake them. We can make different policy choices. We can choose to invest in high-quality curriculums. We can choose to invest in high-quality coursework that helps our students learn better, helps improve student outcomes. And when we focus, we have demonstrated that when we focus, we succeed. That's one. Two, we have to take those successes and relentlessly advocate for more funding. This is not a poor country. This is not a poor state. We are not a poor city. The resources are there. It's about making it a priority. There is a reason that so many of our systems are the way they are, and it's because of underinvestment. When we shift our investment to people instead of things, we see progress. And that's what I'm running. That's what I'm all about. So thank you all for being here.